begs the question, how do you compete with Netflix and HBO when they drop about approximately $100 million for Game of Thrones and for The Crown a season? How do you compete?
I don't think any of us compete with Netflix. I think we're competing for eyeballs and for viewers and fans and engagement. But when I think of compete, it's like, how do I beat them at their game? Mm-hmm. I don't think that's it. I think it has sort of stratified and sort of divided up the opportunities into different categories.
But how do you produce shows that compete with their shows when they are basically spending now, Netflix, $12 billion a year on content? You and I have previously talked about scrappiness, how that's a benefit. Each one of you have big hit shows now on television, Killing Eve, At Home with Amy Sedaris, Schitt's Creek, and there's multiple other shows. Explain to me how you actually compete show to show.
I mean, speaking for True TV, what I would say is all of our shows are creator driven, right? So they all start with a piece of talent at the center that has something unique to say, and then the show is the organic expression of that, right? Our job is to help them bring that world and format to life. So most of our shows have the name of the talent in it. At Home with Amy Sedaris, The Carbonaro Effect, Adam Ruins Everything, right? And what I would say is I think when we're competing for talent, one thing that we found interesting is we've been able to get some shows because we're willing to make a fuss about them. Like at Netflix, there's so many shows being dropped. They're starting to spend more money on marketing now, but for a long time, they're just dropping shows and they only market a select few. When, talent gets into the business oftentimes because they have something unique to say, they want it to be heard, but also they like the spotlight being on them. And so, I don't think talent wants to work on a show for a year and then have it drop and you never hear from it again. So I think in linear, we all have the opportunity to roll something out week over week. We'll commit that we'll market it, we'll make noise about it, we'll invest in it, we'll continue to build it over time. And that becomes meaningful for talent. So I will say that's one of the ways I think we've been able to compete for some projects where it's sometimes it's nice to be a big fish in a smaller pond.
And I think for probably most of us, it's never a volume play. It's being very intentional and considered about our at-bats and making sure our batting average is really high. So it's not playing it safe. It's taking calculated creative risks, looking for bold, distinctive content that will really cut through. And the programming philosophy of BBC America and our parent company, AMC Networks, has always been that bigger is not always better, better is better. And we want to work with the best talent, hopefully early in their careers when we can help grow and nurture it and then move them around our ecosystem, and really produce high quality shows that matter.
Yeah, even if you look at, again, the movie business as an example, there's Disney making your $100 million blockbusters, and then there was Miramax making, Shakespeare in Love. There's Fox, and there's Fox Searchlight, right? There are the people that are going to go out there and spend the $10 million an episode, and there's people that are going to make the $100 million movies. But then there's also Blumhouse, and is going to spend $8 million and make Get Out. Right? Or we're going to go make the Blair Witch Project for $800,000 and have that go make $200 million. So there are ways to compete at different price points. And for the networks that the three of us run, we have to compete at lower price points. But that doesn't mean we can't do stuff like Schitt's Creek that breaks through, or something like Billy on the Street that breaks through, or something like Killing Eve that breaks through. You just have to be smarter and scrappier. But you can go make Get Out and make more money than Avengers, It can happen. You just have to be smart and calculated, and I completely agree. I think the three of us all try to find and champion new voices, and that is a way, get them early in their career. The best example of that is Matt and Trey, when you and I were at Viacom. I mean, the MTV, or Comedy Central MTV, they discovered Matt and Trey, and they made South Park for nothing. Right. And that's become a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
But why is that